Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to episode 2 of World Building. The series in which I'll be taking you through the painstaking process as I attempt to build a fantasy world within Minecraft. As you can see, we've done a little bit of work already. If some of you joined us for episode 1, you'll remember going through the process of building a small bridge over the river. We started work on a watchtower stroke kind of lighthouse out to sea, and around the other side we had a small dock and harbour for the boats. But this was going to form part of a kingdom in which these people would obviously be very familiar with the use of stone, glass, wood, that kind of thing. We've got some iron built into it as well, but mainly in sort of lighting features. And as we talked about in episode 1 as well, the realm will change throughout time. We'll see different cultures with different abilities to build and different aspects of their sort of building style. So without further ado, let's push on. I'm going to start working on the bridge. And as you can see, we're now under that bridge at the second, just filling in the tunnel underneath. This is going to form the subway to a section of caves, which is actually on the other side of the river. As you can see, I've built a pathway around the edge here, the bridge that we started working on just over this precipice here. And yeah, this is all nicely starting to tie in with the glass and the stone. And I'm just going to start work on revamping this bridge here. I was a little bit unhappy with this in the last episode. The use of wood seemed to kill it for me, really. It looked a bit overly complicated and overly finicky. So if we get rid of some of this wood here now. Excuse me, Piggy. Get rid of all this, and we'll see if we can replace it with just a much more streamlined glass effect that we've used in other aspects around the build thus far. Another piggy in the way. Seems to be a lot of animals hanging around here today. There we go. As you can just make out in the bottom left hand corner there was the system of caves that I was speaking about on the other side of this river that subway section is going to lead to. And they're going to be the same culture, so they'll have very similar aspects in terms of build style, but underneath I'm going to use more wood than I am stone. It might well serve as the beginnings of this culture, if you like. Perhaps they started off below ground or seeking the shelter that being in the cave system provided, as well as all the resources, and then perhaps they moved out above ground and expanded and made towers and castles and all the rest of it. So we'll try and create a little bit of history in all of this as well. It won't just be a series of buildings throughout the land that change in build style. There'll be some sort of history and culture and backstory to all of this as well, as obviously I'd like to turn it into a sort of adventure map in the end for the kids to play on, and you guys will be able to watch the kids playing on it, maybe even join in with a few of the games or something like that online. We can have you solving some puzzles and some clues that I'll leave around. Maybe I can build in some trapdoors in certain places and stuff like this, and yeah, have a proper adventure of it all. So here we are. I've modified the tower and the bridge, changed them from their wood look to a much more glassy effect that ties in. Back underground here, I've added some lighting down below, and I'm just going to continue work on the wall as I've done elsewhere, using what I like to refer to as broken bricks, if you like, the cracked brick effect, and obviously the mossy brick as well, to give this idea that again, this has been here for a while, and it isn't all brand new, it isn't all clean and polished. There's some rough edges around the world. Obviously later on in a different section I have a plan to build like a forgotten village, or a village that has undergone some sort of attack. And here we are, just floating above the city at night. I say city, that's a bit presumptuous. The dock area. Obviously it will form a city later on. This all ties in nicely now. We've got the pathway built, a little mini bridge with the glass to go in with the much larger one. Everything ties in quite nicely, I think. It's looking quite nice. I'm very pleased with the way this is going. And yeah, if we just pop below, I've put some wood effect in here. That's because obviously, as I spoke about earlier, when this tunnel progresses under the river and goes into the underground cave system, they're going to use a lot of wood, and I felt this would make a good transitional bit as you go through the tunnel between the heavy use of stone and the more predominant use of wood later on. This would help provide that transition and make it sort of flow together a bit better. But it's looking a bit dark in here at the minute, so I'm just going to start some work on some lighting and brighten this place up, or brighten this bit. So here we go, some more encased lighting. Which, yeah, I mean, obviously it's daytime now, but you'll have to put some faith in me that it does brighten the place up vastly at night. So if we have a look at this wall, obviously I'm going to continue the stone effect all around the edges here. And this looks like it'd be a load-bearing section, I think. So we'll use some chiseled stone for that. And as that's a corner piece, I think we could probably turn that into a pillar. There we go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so we'll use some standard brickwork for here. And like I say, this will continue around these walls here into the tunneled section. But looking above, I'm really not sure what to do with this. Part of me kind of wants to leave it as a grassy section for some greenery. I'm also thinking along the lines of perhaps having a water feature, although putting that pillar there now kind of puts a stop to that. I don't think the water would flow very well. It would be nice to have a water feature that you could see from both above and below, but yeah, I don't think there's enough room here. It would feel forced. Yeah, I could just leave it as greenery. We'll shave it back a little bit. But it kind of just looks a bit left there and a bit clumpy. I think if we take it all back and then maybe just make a pond out of it or something like that, or a small static water feature. It doesn't need to flow, I suppose. We could just have something, yeah, just literally a pond there. I think that's probably what we'll do. And here's one I made earlier. So yeah, just filled that full of water and put some blocks in the middle of it. It looks alright. That'll do for now, until I come up with something better. Or you guys could post in the comments, maybe you want to see something of your own design in there. So right, here we go. That about wraps it up for this episode, I think. We've got a lovely walkway, small bridged area, pond, all the glass ties in nicely, and this is going to form our subway section that will lead under the river to the caves of below on the other side. Yeah. Okay, thanks very much for watching, guys, and I have recorded a lot more footage than this, and we'll get around to posting it much quicker now. We can sort of do 2 or 3 episodes at a time if I can keep on top of things. Yeah, and get this out to you, and let's see where this world goes and how it develops over time. If you've got any suggestions, any comments you want to make, please feel free to sound off below. Maybe we can build in some of your suggestions and build in a little plaque somewhere to say who built this or whose suggestion it was. I think that would be quite nice if it was something that you guys could contribute to as well. Okay, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you again next time.